Hello, welcome. My name's Tina. This is Simply in Stitches. Welcome to my craft room. Today in the craft room we're talking knits for babies. I'm not a knitter of baby items, not for the past 30 years, since my son was a baby. So I am definitely out of the loop. So I asked for some inspiration recommendations and you came forward and gave me some of those. Thank you very much. I've also been looking for what I fancy. So I thought I would share those with you for inspiration, maybe to help you if you've got gift knits or your own baby coming along. If you just want to have a fun time in the craft room, grab your coffee and your knitting and let's just have some fun together. So let's dive straight in. So the baby in question is going to be a boy. The colours that the mother likes are blues and greys, neutral tones. So that's what I'm working on. The baby's going to be born in March. So I'm thinking of perhaps like 3 months time. Well, my initial thoughts are maybe a blanket for now, like a travel car blanket, I think is handy. Something that can also be put on the grass because it soon can be getting better weather. If she's out and about and she wants to lay the baby down somewhere, if she's got a blanket, then she knows she's got something clean to put the baby on. So I thought a little blanket would be a good idea, and maybe a little cardigan that's going to be easy to take on and off. And just as the weather changes going into summer, English summer, gonna need a cardigan, then the baby can have that. So that is my ideas really for the gifts. My first thought for the blanket is a diagonal comfort blanket. Lion Brand have got a pattern for this, but I think it's quite universal, the type of thing that I mean. It's just like a big dishcloth, isn't it? But in an Aran weight yarn, and I was thinking it'd be nice if it was a self-striping or varied colour like a yarn cake, then that would be really good because it would add its own interest, but it would be a simple, quick one to make. So that is one that I thought would be nice. And like I say, there's a pattern for that to get the measurements and how much yarn you need. I think that would be the main problem with that, is knowing. As I said, I would know how to just make one up, but I wouldn't know what the yardage would be. I think all these are free patterns. There is one that I'm going to do like a special one on the side at the end to mention that it's paid for, but all these are free. So because I think that's the thing, that with these baby patterns, because I'm not the mother, then I'm not going to use these patterns again. So where I can get a pattern for free, because I don't want something all singing or dancing, I just want something practical but nice, that I don't really want to pay for a pattern. It's not because I'm tight, a cheapskate. Yes, it is. But you know what I mean? Generally, I like the thought, although I don't usually use pattern very often, twice, it's nice to think that you can use that pattern again, but I have nobody else that I think is going to have a baby that I'd knit for. I'm quite a selfish knitter, so I don't generally knit for other people, but a baby's different. And the mother of the mother is my friend who's going to be a first-time grandmother, and she's a good friend, and I know she would appreciate the thought, and that's why I want to make it practical. I want to make it easy to wash as well. So all these things are going to probably be acrylic so that the new mother can just throw it in the washing machine. The next one that I saw is a bit fancier, and I really liked this one. This is the Leafy Baby Blanket by Silk and Wool, and this is a free pattern. I should put all these links down below, and I really like this pattern. I would love to do this in a green, and I may actually do this just in the future. I have a chair in the hallway and I think it would look nice on there, so I may actually just do this for me in a variegated green, or maybe in like autumnal tones for the autumn. I think that'd be really pretty. So it's supposed to be quite a small blanket. In the comments, a lot of people said this comes up too small. It's more like a doll blanket rather than a baby blanket, and so other people have put more repetitions, 2 more repetitions on it to make it that bit bigger. So if you are interested in this one, that's worth checking out what size it's going to be. So you might want to make it a bit bigger, but I just think it's a really pretty blanket, this one. The next blanket's from Pearl Solo, but she has quite a few blankets on there, so she's a really good resource to look on that website. This one that I was looking at is the Super Easy by Pearl Soho, and this one's a super easy one. It's thin garter, it's DK weight, but there's 7 different colours, so you could really have fun with those colours depending on whether you know what the colours are or not. You can go as pastel, or you could go punchy brights and really make it different. So I really like this one. I like how those colours look, and I think it would be a very usable blanket. So I do like that one. The finished dimensions of that one is 30 by 37, so that's a nice usable size, isn't it? She also has a double moss stitch one on there, and one of my viewers recommended double moss stitch that she's just finished, and it looks lovely. I don't know if that's the one she used, but it's got a really nice texture to it, that sort of blanket. The next one's the Geo blanket, and I really like this one. I think it looks quite contemporary and a bit more modern, although classic, so anybody, I think it would fit into a lot of homes and be a nice blanket. It's a DK weight, and it's got those triangles on it, so you've got that texture there again. This one also comes in 3 different sizes, so you can literally make it to the size you want, depending on how you want to use it. Like I say, I'm thinking more of a car, out and about, just something to take with you blanket, but you can have it, if you want a bigger one to keep in the home, you could have it for that as well, or just for adults if you wanted to have it just on the sofa, that would be lovely as well. The last blanket is the super simple round blanket, and this uses one of the big Caron cakes. It's the Aran weight big Caron cakes, which means you haven't got to choose different colours, not knowing if they're going to go together. They're all there done for you, and it just does it automatically and just makes something beautiful. I really like the circle. I think it's different. It's not something you usually see in the shops. Because it's handmade, it's nice that it's something different rather than making something that could be picked up in the normal shop. It's a nice big size. It's nearly 1 metre wide, so that's a nice big size that could be used for a lap blanket, for an adult or for a baby. And I really like the way that looks. I've never knit a circular blanket, but on the Ravelry ratings, it has got, apart from having 5 stars for the blanket, it also says that people have rated it as easy to do, so that's good. Not too taxing and won't go wrong, and won't want to give up on it halfway through. That's the thing, isn't it? Because we're against the clock on this. That's definitely an issue, isn't it? If you gift knitting and you're against the clock, you want it to know that you're going to complete it. It's going to be fine. You're not going to keep ripping it back every 2 minutes. So that is all the blankets. So I want to move on to cardigans now. I take that back. I don't want to move on to cardigans now. I want to move on to that added pattern. This one is paid for, and it's not going to be one I'm going to knit, but it's something I love, and I may knit it for myself at a later date because I think it's really pretty. But it's the New World baby blanket. It's DK weight once again. But it's got this pattern on it, and just as I was saying about I don't want it, so I'm going to make a mistake, I wouldn't want to, whereas if I make a bit of a mistake on something, I might say, oh, that's fine, I'm happy with that. I wouldn't want to do that of a gift knit. I'd want it to be right. So this is something that's going to be a bit more complicated. It has still got a rating of low, but obviously it's lace. There's a bigger window to make a mistake, isn't there? And it'll be noticed. So I think this is a beautiful one. Once again, if it's one of those cakes that the colours gradually, if it's one of those cakes where the colours gradually change, I think that'd be really pretty, and I could see that like on my bed or something. So this is another blanket, but it's not one that I'm going to be doing when I'm rushing at the moment, but definitely something I might come back to in the future. I've popped it in my favourites, so it's there when I want to look at it. So now moving on to cardigans. So for the cardigan, I'm looking for something quite plain because it's going to be so small. It's for a boy and I want to be very usable. I'm thinking plain colour so it can just be put on anything because it's going to be going, I'm thinking of knitting a 3 to 6 months. So it's going to be going into the summer months. So it's something that's a just in case item or just put it on in the morning or at night. So it's something that's, you want it to look nice with whatever the child's wearing already, basically. So the first one is the vertebra cardigan, and this is one that doesn't come across the body. It's very much just the back and the arms, and it is designed so that there's that contact with the parent when they're holding it. So I really like this, as I said, because of the summer. I think it's not going to be too hot, but it'll be, if the baby's just got like a little t-shirt on, it'll just give that extra warmth. It's free for the newborn size, but I would want the next size up. So I would go for the 3 to 6 months, and it's a fingering weight as well, which is, it's going to take longer to knit. Obviously it's very small. But if I do want to do a blanket and a little cardigan, then yeah. So, but I do really like this pattern, and I think knit in the sock yarn, if it was a merino, if it was for a knitter, I would do it in a hand-dyed merino and it would be beautiful. But because it's not for a knitter, I wouldn't do that. So I think because of who it's going to, I don't think I'll do this, because I don't think it's the right present for the right person. But I think it would be perfect if the mother was a knitter, then I would definitely want to do one of these in a really nice yarn. This next one is a well-loved pattern on Ravelry. It's got loads of reviews, and it's the fuss-free cardigan. And it's just the basic raglan cardigan, buttons down the front. You can customise it to how you want, so you can have it single colour, you can have stripes, you can have short sleeves, you can have long sleeves, all sorts. And this is exactly what I'm looking for. It's DK weight, and yeah, just a nice little cardigan. Just, it is what it is. But with the right yarn, I think it would be really lovely and a very wearable piece for a young chap in the warmer months. The next one is very similar in design, raglan, very simple. This is the Bebe Chocolate cardigan, and it's just got the 3 buttons at the top. Looks like garter round the edges. Yeah, very nice little cardigan. It has got that sheep motif on the front. I don't know if I'd do the sheep or not. I'd have to wait and see what yarn I found. But that's a way of making it a bit different with the sheep, but also very wearable with everything else a little boy might have. So yes, another DK weight one, which is excellent. None of this 4-ply fingering that's going to take longer. So yeah, I really like that one as well. That is one of my favourite ones, I think, with the little sheep. I think it's quite cute. This next pattern is a paid for pattern, but well worth it because it's by Tin Can Knits. And as we know, Tin Can Knits do their patterns from very small babies right up to whatever size you need it to be, basically. So you get a lot for your money with sizes and the possibility of using that pattern again. So the one I'm talking about this time is the Gramps cardigan. So it's supposed to be like a little old man cardigan, and it's just so cute, so popular. It's got this like shawl turned over collar, the buttons, the little pockets, and yeah, it's really cute on a little boy. It's even got patches on the elbows for that well-worn look. So yeah, great pattern, well worth it. And it's not the pattern I'm looking for, but it's a beautiful pattern and well worth spending the extra time knitting it if you have the time. This next designer was recommended off of Etsy, and I've looked on there. There's some beautiful little dress patterns and things on there. But the one that I was looking at is the Joyous cardigan. It's a garter stitch jacket type cardigan, very simple, little pockets. It's made of sports weight yarn, so it's going to be a nice light jacket that is going to be very usable. You could have different buttons on there to change up the look of how you want it to be, or you want it to be a bit more fun buttons or more traditional like the wooden buttons it's got on there. So yeah, I really like that design. As I say, it's well worth taking a look at this designer's other items because they are beautiful, really beautiful. This next one should be the one for me. It's called the Short Notice. It's in Aran weight, so it'll be quick to do up. I think that's why, because it'll be a quick one to actually knit up. The reason it's not going to be the one for me, even though I love it, is because it does all the way up with the buttons. I suppose it can come open, but I'm just thinking because it's going to be for the warmer months, I just think a traditional cardigan that's got an open front will be better than something that's more of a sweater, if you see what I mean. I haven't seen any pictures with it undone, so I think it's more of a sweater rather than a cardigan. But I really like the design, and if it was a different time of year, then I would have gone for this one because I think it's a really nice, it's different. It's like, once again, you can have fun with the buttons. That makes it easy for the mother rather than the traditional sweater to have the buttons. So yeah, I really like this one, but it's not the one I'm going to knit. I have one more thing for you that's slightly different. So let's go on to that one. This one's called the Stig, and it's made in sports weight, but it's just a pullover as in a vest. So no sleeves, just the middle part, which I thought would be quite cute with like a little t-shirt underneath or something. So I quite like that one as a different option. So that is my wild card one. So which one do you think would be a good present? Which one would you knit? Have you knit any of them? Have you got any advice that you say, yes, this is a really good pattern, or no, I would advise you to do this if you had this pattern? I'd really like to know what you think, what your thoughts are. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up, and I hope to see you again in the craft room very soon. Bye for now.